Hey everybody, welcome to One Piece Chapter 1014 review. I would like to apologize for my appearance. I know a lot of you grew accustomed to the disheveled neckbeard look. I apologize profusely. I promise it'll make a strong, mighty comeback, just like Luffy will at some point in the story, probably midway through Act 4, if not the beginning of Act 4. Although maybe Act 4 begins with Kaido's flashback, but I'm getting ahead of myself, ain't I? Chapter 1014, 9 out of 10 chapter. They did it again, folks. Not quite 10 out of 10 yet. I have a feeling we're gonna get there before the end of Act 3, but 9 out of 10 chapter. Let's dive into it, starting with the Monkey Prediction Roundup. That's right, in case you missed the last episode, we started a new segment called Monkey Predictions, where I make official predictions and then we keep a tally of how many I get right, how many I get wrong. The only one that seems relevant from last episode is that Momonosuke will save Luffy. Now, this has not yet been confirmed or denied, but now that we've seen Luffy fall into the water, I think it's pretty clear that Momonosuke probably isn't going to be the one who goes and saves him from the dark depths of the ocean. But until we see who does save Luffy, I can't mark that as a loss yet. So my ego, as fragile as it may be, remains intact. I do want to talk about a theory I had from a while ago, and I might not have talked about it in these chapter reviews. But many chapters ago, when the scabbards were healed up by a mysterious silhouetted figure, personally, I was hoping that it would be Toki. I'm always a big fan of time travel shenanigans. I was really hoping that Toki survived Kaido's, his raid or his assault 20 years ago. Because in the manga, we hear her getting shot, but we don't actually see it on screen. So while that might have been a stylistic choice by Oda to not show Toki getting shot, I thought it was evidence that maybe she survived, jumped 20 years into the future, and she was the one healing the scabbards. But I've been watching the anime as of late because I heard that the Odin flashback was pretty good in the anime, and to be honest, it is alright. It's still a little bit fucking slow, but what else can you expect from the One Piece anime? And in a very recent anime episode, we finally get to the scene, and it looks like Toki is dead. Almost certainly, as long as the anime is canon, which I don't really consider the anime canon, but in this case, it very well could be that they asked Oda, hey, is Toki dead? Because we're going to animate her being fucking dead and dying in a puddle of her own blood. So is she dead? I'm pretty sure they would want to clarify that before they waste their time animating it and then putting it out for the masses to see, because then if Toki actually is alive and the anime department didn't know it, that's going to be a pretty major inconsistency. So if the anime is to be believed, Toki is actually dead, which means the silhouetted figure healing the scabbards is almost certainly Hiyori, Toki and Odin's daughter, who is, 20 some odd years old, Momo's sister. So that's a slight disappointment to me. I really wanted to see more of Toki, because Toki is from the Void Century, and that's one of my biggest intrigues in One Piece, is to learn the true history of the Void Century. So I really wanted a character from there to stick around, and it seems like that's not going to happen. So we probably won't see more of Toki until we get some other flashback, probably just the big Void Century flashback we get one day. But hopefully we get something like that in Wano. But enough about that bullshit, let's jump back into Chapter 1014, and I'm going to hedge my bets. Here's a monkey prediction. I know I said Momo will save Luffy, but now that I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, I'm going to switch my guess to Law's crew in the Polar Tang submarine. That's right. Oda made it clear that the submarine, a lot of Law's crew is not on Onigashima. They stayed behind in the submarine. Now Luffy is deep underwater in the dark. It's going to be hard to find him. Who better to find him than the people on Law's submarine? So either way, I'm either going to be double wrong are just one wrong, one right in terms of who saves Luffy, but sometimes you gotta hedge your bets. Oda is unpredictable. I might be going for a double L here, but I like the idea of Luffy being saved by the Polar Tang. That's my official monkey prediction. In this chapter, we get more of Momo reading Oden's journal, and I talked about this a lot last week, saying him reading the journal makes me think he will not join the crew. Or was that? I think that was 2 chapters ago, but whatever, who cares? I'm convinced he will not join the crew based on what he reads in Oden's logbook, and this chapter, I feel like, further... It kept my confirmation bias going, okay? I think I'll say that. Momo reads something that convinces him he can't die. There's something he needs to do, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I think it's that he needs to open Wano's borders. Some people believe, based on what Kaido said, and I'll get to that maybe Momo is the reincarnation of Joy Boy. I don't like that. I don't want that. I think it's pretty clear from what Oden learned on Laugh Tale that Wano's borders need to be opened so that when the actual Joy Boy returns, his plan, whatever that may be, can be fully realized, and Wano's borders being open is critical to that plan. So Momo knows he can't die because it's his destiny, it's his duty to do what his father could not and open Wano's borders. And even from watching the anime, one of the final things Oden said before getting killed in the anime, and maybe in the manga too, I don't remember, like he really, really stressed this to the 9 Scabbards. He says, guys, you gotta open Wano's borders. Please, for the love of God, open these goddamn borders. So I think that was Oden's main concern, and almost certainly Momo is reading that in his logbook, and he knows that's what he needs to do too. So throw that into the predictions too. Not only will Momo not join the crew, but he knows it's his duty to open Wano's borders as the Shogun, and that's how Wano Act 5 will end, or at least it'll happen at the end of Wano. That's my monkey guarantee. But back to what Kaido said. After he throws Luffy off and he says, oh, looks like you weren't Joy Boy either. And I did not reread all of Wano to get this clarified, but this has to be the first time Kaido has mentioned Joy Boy, right? How the fuck does Kaido know about Joy Boy? I would assume he has somebody on his crew who can read the poneglyphs, because Kaido has a poneglyph. Kaido actually has several poneglyphs. Law found one in the basement of Onigashima earlier in this act. I'm assuming one of Kaido's poneglyphs mentions Joy Boy, and he knows about the prophecy of this person coming back. And when he says, looks like you weren't Joy Boy either, I would assume Kaido is referring to Oden, because Kaido also defeated and killed Oden, and Oden was also trying to vanquish Kaido and Orochi and open up Wano's borders and all that. That would be my guess. If you guys have any ideas on what the fuck Kaido is talking about with this Joy Boy stuff, let me know, but that's what I'm going with. Somebody on his crew read the poneglyph to him, he knows about Joy Boy, and he sort of has the idea that it's Joy Boy's destiny to open up the borders of Wano, or to overthrow the evil rulers of Wano, or something like that. And now that he's defeated Oden and Luffy, he's like, looks like neither of you fuckers were Joy Boy. Get fucked. This chapter also made it seem very clear to me that this raid is definitely ending in failure. We have Luffy down for the count, Zoro down for the count. They're the 2 strongest Straw Hat pirates. And then we have Monster Point Chopper, who I would argue people say Chopper is one of the 3 weakest Straw Hat pirates, and that may be true. But Monster Point Chopper is a different story. Monster Point Chopper, in terms of raw strength, is about as good as it gets. Like, he probably loses to Luffy and Zoro, almost certainly, but Monster Point Chopper versus Sanji? I don't know. I don't want any Sanji fans to crucify me, but Monster Point Chopper, we've seen a lot of history to know he's fucking powerful. And the fact that he has extended his time, he can be in Monster Point now for 30 minutes, and even that is not enough to defeat Queen? Like fucking Queen, not even King. Monster Point Chopper is losing to Queen. You can't injure him because he doesn't know hockey. Like, duh, you can't do shit if you don't know hockey to fucking Queen Chopper. So the fact that Luffy, Zoro, and Monster Point Chopper have all been defeated and didn't even defeat anybody in the process. And I know Monster Point Chopper has not been defeated yet, but he's not making any progress. I highly doubt that Sanji and Jinbei are going to take down King, Queen, and Kaido, and let alone Big Mom and all this shit. So it's almost a certainty that this raid is not going to be successful. I think the heroes, the Alliance, they're going to continue to get their asses kicked for the rest of the act. And now that we've seen Onigashima has reached mainland Wano, here's my new prediction. Not only will Act 3 end on Chapter 1018, but in that chapter, Onigashima will crash down onto the Flower Capital, cementing the ultimate tragedy midway through the story, or midway through the arc of Wano. If that's how you're going to do your act structure, we get 5 of them, you got the tragedy at the end of Act 3. It has to be Kaido wins. Kaido gets what he wants. He wanted to move Onigashima to the Flower Capital. He's going to succeed. All of the heroes will be defeated or outmatched or whatever you want. And that's how it's going to be. That's if I call this right, you all must bow down. You have to send me a bushel of bananas to my P.O. box to acknowledge my greatness. Chapter 1018, end of Act 3. Onigashima lands in the Flower Capital. You heard it here first, folks. Oh, back to Momo. I forgot to mention he hears another voice screaming in his head. I think the last time we saw a scene like this was when Zunisha, the giant elephant thing that Zoe, the people of Zoe live on the back of. The same thing happened to Momo and Luffy in that scene. It's their voice of all things. Is it part of observation hockey in some way, or is it something even deeper and more, maybe more chosen one-esque? I don't know. Odin and Roger had the same thing. They could hear the voices of the Sea Kings. I don't know if it's actually an observation hockey thing or just like a important main character destiny thing. But the question is, what is Momo hearing? My guess would be it's Luffy. Luffy has been defeated and he's knocked unconscious and he's drowning in the water. I'm assuming his voice of all things, Spidey sense, is screaming out in horror and pain, and that is what Momo is hearing and reacting to and freaking out about. Because really, what else would it be? I doubt Zunisha is fucking showing up on the shores of Wano. I've seen a lot of complete dipshits on Reddit say, oh, it's Zunisha! Zunisha's back! Zunisha will defeat Kaido! You guys are fucking idiots. Who the fuck comes up with this shit? It's not fucking Zunisha! I hope that's the name of the elephant, because otherwise I'm gonna look like the idiot. That's my monkey prediction. He's hearing the voice of Luffy crying out in horrible pain because he just got his ass kicked and he's drowning and he's gonna die until Law's submarine comes to save the day. And finally, the big dramatic scene of the chapter, we've got KKK, Kinemon, Kiku, and Kanjuro, the 3 Ks, you gotta love them. We've got Kiku, who, she doesn't really fall for the Odin disguise again, but her womanly emotions, and yes, she's a woman, so of course her womanly emotions get in the way. Can't stab this obvious decoy, because it looks like my old friend, and I'm a woman, so just fucking stab and kill me. And then, of course, Kinemon slaughters Kanjuro. A lot of people think I'm dumb for thinking that anybody is actually dying in this story, and I very well may be. History has proven Oda does not like to kill characters, but I'm hoping the story has reached a certain level of seriousness and maturity where, in a grand epic war like this, the characters should be dying. I really do think Ashura Doji should be dead. I think Zeus should be dead. And after this scene, I think Kiku should be dead and Kanjuro should be dead. And like, they both got death speeches. And Kiku gives her poetry about the melting snow and how the dawn is right on the horizon. You know, that's a pretty good I'm about to die speech. And Kanjuro says to Kinemon, if anybody is going to put up the final curtain of the play that is my life, it should be you. So I do believe all of the characters I named are dead. But then motherfucking Kaido shows up, and Kaido with a big ol' attack with Conqueror's Haki flying off of it all crazy, fucking boom, right onto Kinemon. But I do not believe Kinemon is dead. I don't know how they're going to justify him surviving this attack, because he should be fucking obliterated. But it is not Kinemon's time to die in the story yet. Narratively, he still has things he needs to do. He needs to reunite with his wife. He has not done that yet. She at least needs to watch him die, I believe. And I feel like Kinemon needs to be there for the final battle, or at least sacrifice himself for Luffy, or witness Luffy defeat Kaido before he ultimately dies. This is probably a fatal blow, but I don't think he's dead yet. I think he will still be kicking for chapters to come. But all in all, pretty good chapter. I mean, 9 out of 10. That's it's almost as good as you can get. I'm very, very happy that Luffy being defeated and falling into the water was not a cop-out. It was not some bullshit, pointless cliffhanger. I'm glad that people were hoping Luffy would wake up, go into Gear 4th, and fly up. I'm glad those people were proven wrong, because again, stuff like that is just so unbelievably stupid that I would lose faith in the story if it actually happened. And I'm very much looking forward to the next 4 chapters just being the downfall of the Alliance. Kaido is roaming free. He has defeated everybody. Kaido has gone up against like 20 fucking people at this point, and now he's down in the main floor attacking fucking Kinemon. Like, there's no way this Alliance can do anything. They're fucked. You think Sanji's gonna fight Kaido? The next 4 chapters have to be just fucking obliteration. The Alliance is fucked. Unbelievably fucked. Luffy is not coming to save the day anytime soon. The next 4 chapters to end Act 3 just have to be the continued downfall of the raid on Onigashima. They have to all fail, and it's going to be tragic and horrible, and probably more people are going to die. None of, like, the main Straw Hat characters, because they all have dreams that need to be fulfilled and all that jazz. But some of these secondary characters, we're going to have a mass grave by the end of this act, I have to hope and believe. So I'm very satisfied with the direction the story's going based on this chapter. I'm glad that Kaido did not waste any time letting everybody know Luffy has been defeated, Luffy's dead. Of course, the Straw Hats don't believe him, but they never do. We've seen many times they get informed that Luffy's defeated, like back in Alabasta, and Usopp's like, nah, fuck you guys, you don't know shit. Luffy's not defeated. And I'm glad that he immediately went down and just fucking hit Kinemon with one of his most powerful Conqueror's Haki attacks. I'm ready for Kaido, the reign of Kaido, to begin. A reign of terror. And I want that koi fish dragon giant Superman to win the day. He crashes down on the Flower Capital. Then we get a couple chapters of seeing what's happening in the other parts of the world, you know, in between acts. And then Act 4, now that Kaido has won, I think that'd be a good time to see Kaido's flashback, and we can finally see him on Rox's crew as a little apprentice, and maybe he's like the weakest one on the crew and everybody's always bullying him. And then he, that fills him with determination to be the carp who makes it to the top of the waterfall to become a dragon. He gets bullied so much as an apprentice on the crew that he becomes the strongest creature in the world. That's my prediction for, I guess, the next 20 some odd chapters of One Piece. Let's see if I'm even a little close. Thank you for watching, folks. Another great chapter. Hopefully we'll get some 10 out of 10s and some true tragedy, horrible shit in the next 4 chapters, and hopefully I'm right that the act will end on 10 to 18, or I'm gonna look about as stupid as as this. See you next time, folks.